Michael Snyder, prolific writer, researcher, economiccollapseblog.com, joins us to get into the state of the world, the election, where he sees it all going. First off, Mr. Snyder, great to have you here with us today. Looking at the full spectrum, do you think Trump's a dead heat, behind, or ahead?
Well, I think it's an open question, Alex, because right now what we've got these widely divergent polls. Or, for example, right now we've got some polls actually showing the race tied or Trump slightly ahead in the last few days, as high as Trump ahead 2 percentage points nationally. But then we've got these other polls, like this ABC News Washington Post survey, which had Hillary Clinton up by 12 points. So, we've got these widely divergent polls this close to the election. This shouldn't be the case. But now when you look closer at the ABC News Washington Post poll, they oversampled Democrats. And what they did, they had 9 percentage points more Democrats than Republicans in the survey. They did that purposely. They described that in their methodology. And now there's a couple reasons why they might want to do that. One would be to suppress the Trump vote. If the Trump supporters think, oh, Trump's going to lose, there's no point, less Trump supporters may actually go to the polls. The other potential reason, and more insidious reason, is to set a precedent. And so if the actual results which come out, which may or may not be legitimate, but if they show Hillary Clinton winning by a significant margin, well, they could say, well, the polls leading up to Election Day showed that, so the precedent was set.
Sure, it sets the precedent for them to steal the election and suppress the vote, and which we have the Podesta emails from a year ago saying, this is how we're going to do it. We're going to go out and oversample for Hillary.
Yeah, absolutely. And so there's a lot of concern. But even more importantly, what people need to look at rather than the national polls are the state polls, because Donald Trump could win the popular vote by 5 million votes even and still lose the election. So right now, the key is to look at the individual states. And unfortunately for Trump, the electoral map is kind of rigged for the Democrats at this point. They kind of have a built-in advantage, if you will, even if the votes are counted legitimately. And so there's certain things that Trump needs to do in order to win the election. The first step that what Trump needs to do is he's got to carry all the states that Mitt Romney won in 2012. Now, there's a couple states where that might be an issue. One is North Carolina, where a lot of the recent polls had showed Hillary Clinton with a slight lead. Now, a poll just came out that showed Trump with a lead in North Carolina, so he seems to have some momentum there. Now, also, people want to keep an eye on Arizona, which is usually reliably red, but a couple polls recently have shown potentially Hillary Clinton doing well. In fact, one poll had her up by 5 points in Arizona. But let's assume for a second that Trump can do that. He can win all the states that Romney won in 2012. Well, that only gets him to 206 electoral votes. He needs 270. So to get to 270, Donald Trump, first of all, he's got to win Florida. That's absolutely key. If Florida's 29 electoral votes, without those 29 electoral votes, it's going to be really hard to make them up anywhere else. Hillary Clinton had been leading in most recent polls. Now today, headline on Drudge Report, Trump has taken the lead in Florida, so he seems to have some momentum there. Trump is also leading in Ohio, which is absolutely key for this election. Got to have. In fact, no Republican has ever won the presidency without winning Ohio. So people want to keep an eye on that swing state too. Then Trump has also got to win Iowa, 6 electoral votes there. Trump's been doing well there, been leading in most of the polls, so that's good news. And then Nevada. Nevada, unfortunately, that appears to be a real trouble spot for Trump. Hillary Clinton's been winning in all the recent polls, so Trump really needs to make up some ground in Nevada. Now, if Trump wins all those 4 states, he still needs one more medium-sized state. And we're talking about potentially Wisconsin, Pennsylvania, or Michigan. Now, Clinton is leading in all of those states, so maybe Trump seems to have some momentum in Pennsylvania. So that's a key to keep an eye on. But there's one more wrinkle to keep an eye on, because if Trump does all those things and wins all those states, Utah could still push him back below 270.
And they've got an admitted CIA covert operations officer, that's the really nasty ones, actually trying to get all the conservatives to vote for him and not Trump, and admits he's trying to hand it to Hillary. Talk about despicable. Let's talk about it with a very informed Michael Snyder of the economiccollapseblog.com straight ahead. We'll also get into the smoking gun, Obama covering up his emails to Hillary. Look, I'm not going to sit here and say, see, I told you so, that communist Chinese-style net censorship was coming to the web, because it's already here. It's being announced. The way you keep the internet open and free is you get involved more than ever. Go to Infowars.com/app. A new battleship in the fight. Infowars Live, available right now. We're looking for a crew to man it. You gonna sit down and play games and be a trendy? Or are you gonna be part of history? Don't sit by and let the internet and free speech be stolen from you. Take action.